Hey everyone, welcome to the Mentor's Office podcast. I'm Annie, and today Andy and I will be discussing some of the most important investments we've made in education. We'll cover everything from advice for those pursuing a master's in computer science to the benefits and challenges of programs like studying a master's degree in computer science versus traditional universities. We'll also dive into lifelong learning resources and practices that have helped us stay ahead in our fields. Join us for some great insights, and of course, we'll answer some of your questions from the audience toward the end of the episode. Hi, Andy. I'm so excited to join you once again, and let's have this conversation. Good to see you.
Hey Annie, it's great to have you here. It's been a long time since you joined, and I'm really happy to have you here.
Yeah, me too. And I'm very excited to learn from you and understand what you consider a good investment in education, especially because you work in tech. I feel like we both work in tech and in different business environments. So, yeah, like I feel right now it would be awesome to understand what is exactly the best education investment you have made in education.
I was thinking about that because we hear a lot about how expensive universities are, and I also have studied in several places like the University of Southern California, masters there, Georgia Tech, Udacity, Universidad de los Andes in Colombia,
In South America, yeah.
in South America, the most important university in the country. And I realized that the best investment that I have made in education was from Udacity, actually, not from a traditional university, not from my bachelor's degree or master's degree. The best investment that I have made and the best return on investment is from Udacity. So,
So
like,
why? Like, I want to understand that. Like, what are these key differences, and what opportunities did you find after completing different nano degrees from Udacity?
the way to measure one way to or the way to measure return on investment is with money, direct money
Okay.
returns that you get.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that I invested in Udacity like $2,000, like from all the courses that I have done. But
Right.
the
So how many?
earnings,
How many in total would you say?
how many nano degrees?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have taken I think like 10, but
Wow,
actually
that's a lot.
the thing is that have well, I paid like for only 3, but after I became a mentor, because that's the really interesting thing about Udacity, like it offered me a freelance or a contractual opportunity to work in the academic part of the company as a mentor,
Right.
helping
Yeah.
students,
Yeah.
creating content, etc. And the cool thing about that is that I can take courses without paying, and that's really cool. So I
Yeah,
can
so I've heard like at Udacity, you're able to kind of test the nano degrees and like new programs they are about to launch.
exactly that one, and that they also right now they're giving you like a special like a discount code where you can take a nano degree without paying.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that when you become a mentor, they start paying you. And what I think I started working like from 2016, I think, and the total earnings that I have made is over $100,000.
Wow,
So it's
amazing.
amazing. Just investing like $2,000 or less, and the total return is over $100,000. It's
Impressive.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mean like $100,000 over the years?
Over all the years, yeah, since
Yeah.
2016. It's
Okay.
really good. And if I compare it with the other ones, none of the other ones have paid off like that. The next one in return on in investment was the OMSCS from Georgia Tech.
Right.
It it is an amazing master's degree, an amazing opportunity from one of the best universities in the world. and especially in computer science, and just investing $7,000 for the whole master's degree. That because of that, I got the job right now at Wiseline,
Okay, that's
and
perfect. Yeah.
it pays really well. So that's the second best investment in terms of return on investment. Afterwards, I would say that is Universidad de los Andes,
Okay.
and third it would be USC. That is the most expensive one of, like, just one course in USC costs like $9,000. It's a lot of money, and
Yeah, and I can
I didn't
understand
see
that
the
because
return investment because I also run out of money to finish that degree. And
yeah,
the
because
thing is,
usually in the United States and specifically the universities that you have mentioned, like the University of Southern California, Georgia Tech. In, for example, I went to Emory. You need student loans or someone that can assist you in
yeah,
paying
it's
tuition,
a lot
right?
of money. So if it happens like in my case that I couldn't work in the United States, it's gonna be a really bad investment because
No, but even if you work in the United States, like
yeah,
the
but it's different.
tuition,
Like,
like
the
yeah,
difference in the income that you have compared with Colombia is like 10 times.
very hard, right? It's you got 10
Therefore,
times harder. Yeah,
therefore is like a big difference in the return of investment. And
yeah,
because of my circumstances, I couldn't finish it, and that's why I couldn't work in there, and it didn't pay off.
yeah. But it's interesting. Like maybe you would put this investment at the University of Southern California on hold because as you continue working, perhaps you can just like finish the degree later.
Yeah, maybe actually they put a lot of let's say blockers on how to finish it. Like they put a restriction on time. They don't have any help for financial help for or aid for international students, and
Yeah.
that makes it hard. And they don't give
Okay.
you like a lot of opportunities in that sense. If you have any financial problems, it's on you. They're not gonna help you. But
Okay.
yeah, like I wanted to talk about that on the best investments that I have made in terms of education, and definitely those two. Maybe we can talk about other things like my experience, if I liked living in another country, those kind of things. But if we measured it in direct money, direct income that you make, definitely these ones were the best by far. Not my bachelor's degree, not
Yeah.
the
So
most
doing it
expensive
online
university, just
actually, like doing the online master's degree and then taking the nano degrees at Udacity.
definitely. So I really recommend that you look into things like Udacity because it can be a really great opportunity of investment for you as an education, and it's really gonna pay off. So if
So
you're
where did you learn the skills the most? Do you think from the online master's degree or Udacity?
I think it's different. It prepares you for different things. For skills that you really need at work, Udacity definitely.
You mean the
Because
technical level?
the skills, because the thing is that knowing AWS, knowing certain programming languages, certain technologies that are used in the industry, you need to learn it in places that are focused on professional education and
Yeah.
not academic education or theoretical. And that's
Okay.
a big difference. But I definitely think that the masters, having that masters in Georgia Tech, make a really big difference on the recruiting process, and that was really good.
Hmm.
That's why I think
So it's
beyond.
sort of like it gave you presence.
Yeah, exactly. They like
Mhm.
that, and they told me that that helped me to stand out,
Yeah.
and it was really good.
Okay. Yeah. So, what would be your advice for people planning to study a master's in computer science or related topics?
My advice on them is that there are a lot of things have changed, and now we have the alternative of online education. And for example, many people in Colombia
Yeah.
are thinking about making a master's degree in computer science or related topics such as data analytics, AI, cybersecurity.
Okay.
And the thing is that the OMSCS, that is the online master's degree from Georgia Tech, is so competitive and so affordable that is even more affordable than a master's degree in Universidad de los Andes. That is the
Like a
top
local
university.
university. Okay.
Yeah, that's the best university in the country.
That's
Is private,
insane. Are you kidding
and
me? Like
it's
just
more
like
affordable.
studying at Georgia Tech would
Exactly.
be
So
better
it
just
makes
than to attend a local university.
exactly. It makes for me, and if anyone is listening to this and planning to a master's degree in these topics, it makes for me it makes no sense to yeah to go
Spend
and
that,
and
yeah,
spend
spend the
that money
money. Mhm.
in Universidad de los Andes, for example, or any local universities, having the opportunity to study in a
Abroad, you would
world
say.
renowned university. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
But
it's
do you
for me
think that
it's
you're
crazy
missing
that
out the experience? Like, for instance, going to just like live on campus and have the experience of joining a university abroad, or maybe just like
that's a
having
good
the
question.
experience of like going to a local university and have the same experience. I think like you meet people, you build connections, whereas you where you when you study online, you have like your connections online, and that's fine as well. But um, it would be different.
That's a good question. I think that it depends on your case. So people that want to study, let's say a person that lives in Colombia or in Mexico,
Yeah.
and they want to study in their local country, they are not looking to go to United States to work there or to have that experience. I think that the OMSCS is a really good alternative because you can have the degree from one of the best universities in the world, and that really makes a great difference with employers. But it also, like the quality of the education, you're gonna learn from the best teachers in the world, the best researchers in the world. Like I think that one of the best teachers in the whole world and researchers in AI is David Joyner, and he's one of the teachers there. And actually, I think he is the executive director of that degree.
You had interviewed him before.
We interviewed
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
So if anyone wants to check
Therefore,
out
like
his
from the point
episode,
of view of return on investment, I think that the OMSCS will outperform a local university. And from the point of view of academics on education quality, they outperform from return on investment and employer recognition. Therefore, I really think that if you are really thinking about, okay, I want to take a master's degree in my own country, I think this is a great opportunity because the thing is, Annie, it makes no sense to pay more money for, let's say, Universidad de los Andes and get less than the other one because it's not like the thing. They're not. These universities are because online education is so new for them and they're starting to adapt.
yeah,
That it makes no sense that they don't give you more, like they don't guarantee, for example, your job, a job. They don't give you more job opportunities. There's nothing really there that they could do to differentiate and compete with these elite universities in the world. So that's why I would say that. And it also, like, it makes no sense because this university is now offering I think the artificial intelligence and data analytics master's degree online.
So you mean Georgia Tech?
No, Universidad de los Andes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it makes no sense because it is more expensive than the one in Georgia Tech.
Wow,
and in
that's
many
insane.
other universities in the United States. And it's
Yeah.
also they also offered it online it makes no sense if these universities don't like try to innovate, try to really add more value. Like they don't
Yeah.
have, I don't think they don't have any way to compete, because the other ones are much better and have much better researchers, much better name, everything.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. So that's my
Okay.
advice for people looking to study in Colombia. Now the other difference, the other case is people that I'm saying, okay, I think I agree with you, but my real objective is to work in the United States. And that's actually one of the reasons why people study a master's degree, an international student in the United States, because they get that OPT, that is that permission to work in the United States up to 2 years, I think.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I
And that's
didn't
the
know
way.
that. Okay.
So that is one thing that was my case. That was the case why I started the
Yeah, like
my
you
degree
wanted
in
to.
USC instead of on Georgia Tech, because I want to stay there.
Okay.
And that would be, I
But then
think
you
that,
found other opportunities.
yeah, it is a long story. And I actually didn't use the OPT because of financial circumstances, also the pandemic.
With the
And
pandemic,
I
yes.
actually, to be honest, I was very focused that to be able to get a job in the United States, I needed to start looking a job since the day
You
I
joined
started. Yeah,
USC. Mhm.
I started studying there.
Yeah.
But the thing was that I started. It was not so easy to find a job. I didn't know, and that is something that I'm aware now of, that mistake, that I was not good at looking for jobs.
Hmm.
And but the other thing was that I also fell in love with a company that was Udacity,
Yeah.
and I started working in sales with them, also as a mentor. That's more of an academic role.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was gonna get actually a job with them, but that didn't happen. And I waited too long
Too
throughout
long.
my masters,
Like
and
you waited like for this
and
opportunity.
that's
Yeah.
why I also wasted the opportunity to go and work with another company in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one lesson. Like, don't fall in love with, maybe with, you can fall in love, but
The concept
it's
of a company.
be very aware that if they don't give you an opportunity, you have to go and look somewhere else,
Hmm.
because no one's gonna take care of you, only you.
Hmm.
And
That's
that
right.
was my big mistake of really trying to get a job in Udacity and saying, okay, they're not giving me a job now, but maybe in 6 months or something. And nothing happened. I actually
Right.
asked this guy from Spain that I was working on
Yeah.
in sales, and I asked him, and he basically, after I helped him a lot to get a lot of things, he basically told me that no, there were no opportunities, and that's it. So that was a bad thing. And
Yeah.
that was,
Heart wrenching. I mean,
yeah,
super
like the thing
overwhelming.
is that you have to think that if you don't get an opportunity fast, you need to go somewhere else. And that was
Hmm.
actually my mistake. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that it's, if you are really, if you what you really want is work in the United States, going to in-person master's degree, it's a good idea.
Okay. Yeah.
That is a good idea. But uh, one of the problems, at least in my case, if you don't have a lot of money, you have to look for a university that it's more affordable, because
Gives you
that was,
alternatives. Yeah.
yeah, because the problem with USC, like, I liked it, but it is so expensive, like $9,000 per course, and I had to
Yeah.
take 10 courses. It is for a person at least that
Yeah,
has the
but then if
income
you
from Colombia,
live
it's
on
really hard.
campus, you have to, find
Exactly. So
housing.
it's tuition plus living there.
Yeah, living expenses. So
So I
it's
think that was
completely
one mistake that
hard.
I made. That even if I like USC, the thing is that if you're an international student and your goal is to stay there working, try not to pick a university that it's so expensive that you have the risk of not being able to pay for it.
Yeah, or finish.
That was my case. Like after the pandemic, I had a lot of problems. Like my main source of income was from Udacity, and the revenue there plummeted basically.
Right.
So that also affected my income, and that's why I couldn't afford anymore to pay for the courses. And I also didn't want to ask more money from my parents, and I actually asked for financial aid, but they told me that they didn't have any financial aid for international students, although they say that they're working in, they actually announced an affordability act and DEI initiatives. And but unfortunately, if you are an
Such lies.
international
Yeah.
student, if you're an international student, affordability and all of those things that they talk about DEI doesn't apply to you. And that's something that's a little bit of a contradiction. But because, for example, I had to pay full tuition, and with that tuition they use it to pay the tuition of other people that are Americans,
Yeah.
that are, I think, if their families under, their income is under $80,000, they don't pay tuition at all in USC for undergrad. And basically I so it makes no sense because I end up paying for them. And I when I wanted financial aid, they didn't give anything. So basically my parents and I didn't even make $80,000 a year, and we don't get any help, but we end up paying for the tuition of people that make
That's
a lot
insane.
more money than us.
Yeah.
It makes no
Insane.
sense. So that's one thing. So if you want to study in the United States, maybe universities like Georgia Tech would, or maybe other.
But Georgia Tech is expensive too, Andy.
Yeah, but not compared with USC. Like the.
What do
the
you mean,
cost
like on campus?
on campus? Yeah, on campus is, I even checked, and it's like 4 times cheaper, the tuition. So it's
Okay.
a quarter of the tuition. So that is a lot of money actually. So if you want to try, I would say that really paying attention to looking for other alternatives is a good thing. And one other
Because also
advice,
state universities are also very good.
yeah, that's the thing. Or some private universities that maybe are not as well ranked as USC, but that are more affordable. But yeah, so for people trying to study a master's degree because they want to stay in the United States, I would also say that one really good thing that I did during that time was working and studying at the same time. That was the way that I was able to afford it. And it is working online. So working with Udacity was the way that I afforded it.
Okay, I kind of want to like touch on a topic here, because not only were you were working at at Udacity, but also you were studying. But also, I feel like you are also self-taught. Like you learn new skills every day. I know that you are a Toastmaster, and then you continue to grow in different ways by taking nano degrees or reading books or like having discussions. So, what do you think is the superpower of being self-taught so important among among students, among people that want to find a new job?
I think that is one of those skills, most valuable skills that I learned during college. And it's not that the university taught it, but that I figured out how important that was. I think.
Yeah, why though? Like, why do you like?
And the reason
What
for that is that
strengths
if you
have
see,
you?
is that
Mhm.
having the ability to, after college, and you're gonna have to learn by your own. And if you depend on a teacher to be able to understand something,
Yeah.
it's gonna be really hard for you, or really expensive, but also really hard, because if you don't have, if you are if you don't get out of your comfort zone and you cannot try to learn by yourself, it's gonna be a big problem for you if you're in a company and you need to learn something by yourself, or if you have your own business or your own research.
Yeah, that's great. You have
And
to do your research.
exactly, like what do you do if you in the real world? There you don't have any teacher that's gonna, hey, explain the thing that's in the
Yeah,
book.
like a tutor.
Exactly, that's not the real thing. So I think that's really really important, and also it was really important because it helped me to learn faster. what While I was in the university, like I started in doing my bachelor's degree, the interesting thing was that I was going to the biology courses, and I started to figure out that after the class, only retained like 10% of what the teacher said. So I
Yeah,
was
I
saying
wonder
like,
why this happens to, most of us.
yeah. So I thought that makes no sense because what I'm currently doing, and that was during my first semester in the university, I'm going to a class for, let's say, 2 hours. I just get 10% of all the things that the teacher said, and then I have to read again the slides and the book.
The lesson, yeah.
So I end up like taking like 4 hours, and I said this makes no sense.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
time
started what I
consuming, it's boring. Yeah.
exactly, and what I figured out was that in the book, after reading the book and the slides in my own pace and by myself, I learned a lot more than going to class. And that's why
Yeah.
I figure out this is a game changer. And actually I stopped going to classes, and I just went to a library and read the book and read the slides and work on for example, if it was calculus, I worked on the
So
math
you did it by
problems on my own.
yourself. You never attended classes.
Basically, no. I like
Okay.
that. My strategy was the following: I went like during the first 2 or 3 weeks to class
Yeah.
to see how, or like the first 2 weeks to see how was the class working, meaning
The dynamic.
the dynamics. Exactly. So, for example, there are some classes where everything's in the slides, or all the exams are based on the slides or in the book. And there are some other classes where, for example, the teacher, there's no book, or there's nothing, no slides, and it's everything like the teacher like to write everything on the board, on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
So I needed to first go to the class to figure out, okay, is this a teacher where everything, all the information is said during the class, and there is no other way to learn it, like no book, or the information in the slides is really low. And based on that, if I see that I could learn by myself with the slides and the book, like I would just not go. And the other thing
Yeah.
was that to see if there were quizzes. So if it was like a course without quizzes, I would say nothing, or just trying to learn where they're doing the quizzes, and that's it.
So do you think like professors at universities do keep quizzes as an alternative of teaching?
Well, it's a way to make students go, but I think
Like attendance.
yeah, but it,
Yeah.
it makes no sense because you also want to create people that are independent. That's
Right.
a really good
Yeah.
skill because you at work, for example, you, Annie, you have to be independent. Right
Yeah.
now, for example, me working in Udacity, I have to be independent. I have to
Yeah, you have
work on
meetings,
myself.
you're doing other stuff.
Exactly. No one is
Yeah.
babysitting me like, in
Yeah.
school.
Hmm.
And if you do that in the university, that, oh no, I want to quiz everyone so they come because I think
I
it's
would
really
have
important.
failed.
It's
I
like,
mean, that's yeah,
yeah, but
that's
that's
horrible.
like babysitting and not like not making them live,
Yeah, but
like
it's also like
not
it
be,
should be different on high school, right?
well, it's another topic. Like I'm talking right now at the university, but in the university
Yeah,
you'll have to learn to be like an independent, responsible adult, and not someone that needs a babysitter to study.
right.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
also
correct.
another important. And actually, like that part of being self-taught, helped me to do really well in the university with the grades. But
Yeah.
afterwards, it also helped me to learn after the university. So I have a problem, I just buy a book and I can learn, or I can also learn with a online course, because there's many people that say, no, I don't like online courses because I don't learn very well, because I need a teacher, and that's a problem.
That's such a lie. I think, with our experience at Udacity, we have learned a lot,
Yeah,
like
I have
technical
learned a lot.
skills,
I think it's awesome.
the mentoring skills.
Exactly. But if you are like, if you want a babysitter teacher, because otherwise you don't go to class,
Yeah, it's
that's why it's
different.
really important to develop those kind of self-control, responsibility skills during college. Like you have to
Yeah,
learn
but
to.
and I think the advantages of like attending a school, for example, in my case, Emory, in your case, Georgia Tech or USC, when you graduate from these universities, you keep learning with them. You in the way that they invite you to events, conferences.
Do
Um,
they invite you to a lot of conferences after graduating in America?
yeah, and it doesn't mean that I go, but whenever they have events, and I have like a couple of friends here in the city, so we do go to the conferences, or like maybe we are invited to attend a different class, like, and I would take those, and it would be 8 hours in a day.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. So
because
in,
it's
in
like
conclusion, in conclusion, like being self-taught was one of the most important skills, and that has really helped me in my success. Being able to learn by myself, like after graduating college, being able to learn anything. If I have a problem at work, on my business, I can do it on my
yeah,
own,
you do it by
because
yourself.
I
Yeah.
can I can learn. That's being able to learn. It's on yourself by yourself. It's a really important skill. And also in the university, you like if you learn to learn by yourself, you're gonna save a lot of time, and also use the teacher for something important. That is, instead of listening to the teacher repeating what's in the book, you can use the teacher to ask them, okay, I don't understand this problem number 8 in the book, can you teach, like, can you show me, instead of things that are low value.
Yeah, and so you think like this self-learning experience with AI,
It's really
do you
powerful.
think, yeah, I think
It's amazing.
you don't need anyone anymore.
Like I can learn like right now because of, large language models. Like I'm using Perplexity and Chat
Right.
GPT or
GPT, yes.
GPT. I learn really fast, really, really fast.
Hmm.
It's amazing. Like if I don't understand something, I can just ask,
Just
and
explore
it
more
saves
the
me a lot of time.
ideas.
It's not like I can now go through online or to a book and learn it, but it saves me a lot of time instead of
Yeah.
just googling it or going through a book. It saves me a lot of time, and that's really good. And also, if you don't know something, it can help you fill those gaps, because sometimes in the university or something, the teacher won't help you, because sometimes some teachers have that mentality, and these tools help you to learn and to avoid having those gaps that, okay, I never learned how to do that because the course never taught me that. So
Yeah, yeah. That is amazing, Andy. So what is the main lesson for you?
a big
If
lesson
you were to, I mean, if you were to do this all over again, what would you do differently?
from my, what do you mean, from my university or college?
Yeah, like would you even attend the university, Universidad de los Andes in Colombia?
That's a really good question. I'm not really sure, because sometimes I think something, sometimes I think another thing,
Yeah.
and I think that I would give it more time to be able to conclude. But definitely, it may have been a better decision to study in a cheaper place and save that money to go and study in the United States, for example.
Yeah.
That's one thing that could have happened, but I'm not sure.
And find more certificate programs, for example.
Yes, but the thing is that even like that university compared to university in the United States is still affordable. Therefore, like, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I have to think about it if I. But as I said, it like that. Like in my case, the return investment wasn't the best. So that's
Hmm.
why some of the times what I ask, like, I don't know if it was the best investment from a monetary point of view.
Yeah.
And also that I think that I didn't learn or that I didn't take all of the opportunities, because in the university no one tells you how to take advantage of all of the things that you can do in college. For example, I think that I should have tried to talk more with teachers, not necessarily my teacher, but someone, and try to find job opportunities with them or research
Yeah, probably.
opportunities,
That's a
like
good
being more
idea.
productive. That's one advice that I think. And also one thing, for example, in USC, I was trying to get a job in there with a professor, but the thing was that I remember that I only gave or sent like 3 emails when for job applications that
Yeah.
they showed, and I only sent 3 because I never got a reply and I gave up. And I
Okay.
think that was a problem because actually, now that I have worked in sales, I know that you have to send like 50 emails to get 5 responses. And
That's
that's that.
insane, Andy.
Yeah, but that's how it works. People are
Mhm.
busy, or
They forget.
sometimes
They're
they
not
see
as
your message,
convinced.
like
Yeah.
they see your message, but they forget about it. And you have to follow up, and
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
reality. Or having it happen to you that someone send you a WhatsApp message or a LinkedIn message and you saw it, but you have so much things to do that
That you
you
forget
say,
about it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
will respond in 1 day or in an hour, and then you forgot.
Yeah.
So that's how things were. So I would definitely change that. The other thing related to my masters, I'm not 100% sure if I would have completed or gone to USC in my situation with
Yeah.
not with my income level in from Colombia to go to
Hmm.
USC, because for me it was really difficult to afford, and
Right.
actually the OMSCS was a much better return
In
investment.
Georgia Tech. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that from a monetary point of view, like it didn't make sense to go to USC, but
Okay.
I think
The experience is
it was
different.
interesting to live in the United States. Definitely, it was
Yeah.
really cool to live in Los Angeles, and as that part of that experience, learning to live in your own for so long.
Like living on your own and like handling groceries, studying.
Well, yeah, that part not so much, but learning
Oh,
that,
you because you yeah
like going far
you
away from
you were
your
attending the
family,
school.
like going
Hmm.
far away. I think that you learn to value your family a lot more, and
Okay.
also like it's really interesting to go to live in another country like United States. It's totally different from Colombia, and
Yeah.
to see how people work in there, and
But you
like one
gain
of the
independence, right?
yeah, like I was very independent, but I also think that it helped me to learn to live by myself in the thing that I was very close to my family, so it was hard for me to live for a long time away.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, that was the real hard thing. Not that I have to do chores and wash my clothes, but living far away.
Doing laundry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So learning that, like right now, I have that resilience of, or let's say like that skill to to live away from my family and not feel bad, because at the beginning I felt really bad. So that was one good thing that I learned, and that I saw that I was able to do by
Yeah.
myself. And the other thing is that one course that I think that it was worth the $9,000 was the course of software engineering with Barry Beam. That is the top researcher worldwide in, or was the top researcher worldwide in software engineering, and the
Okay.
pioneer in that. Amazing course. Like, I learned so much. It has helped me so much today in my career.
Yeah.
I think that's the only course in USC that I say it was worth $9,000.
That's
Like,
amazing.
unfortunately, that professor passed away. That's really sad,
Mhm.
but it was definitely an amazing course, and I learned a lot. So that was one thing that I
Something to
say
take it.
I don't regret taking that course.
Mhm.
And if you are studying in USC, I definitely 100% recommend taking that course, the software engineering course or the software economics course
Okay.
from USC. Definitely, if you don't take it, um, it's, I don't know, you missed a lot. Like, you're gonna miss a
So
lot of good things.
lifelong learning experience.
And the other
So in
thing is
summary,
that,
what you're saying is that you have to be open to these opportunities of studying abroad online and taking advantage of all these resources that we have online.
yeah, definitely. And there are some circumstances where it makes even more sense. Like I told you, that between studying in a local university in Colombia or in Mexico or in any country in Latin America versus studying in Georgia Tech, for example, online. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's so much better to study there from a return on investment. You know, one of the reasons that they hired me in Wiseline was of my because I studied in Georgia Tech, because they don't know what's Universidad de los Andes or what's Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico. They don't know what's that, but they really know what's Georgia Tech. And
Right. They're familiar
they
with it.
hired me to work with a client that is Dow Jones or the Wall Street Journal. And
Yeah.
because of that, they say, "Oh, I want this guy," because they really
They
they
connected
connect
with,
with that brand. It's
yeah.
really well recognized in the United States. So if you are from this
Hmm.
country and want to work with external clients, that's definitely a plus.
Yeah, it would give
It was
perspective. Hmm.
That was one of the big reasons why they hired me, because I studied in Georgia Tech and
Yeah.
in USC.
Amazing, Andy. So, in conclusion, before we leave, so I would understand that we need to continue in our journey of self learning, and as well take advantage of online resources. And if you have the opportunity, um, to not spend that much on local universities when you have the opportunity to research in universities abroad.
That's
That's
a
my understanding.
that's a key takeaway, and I think
Cool.
this is gonna be really good, because it's gonna make this competition from American universities and top universities worldwide to universities in Colombia and Latin America. That competition is going to help them to improve and offer better things. Otherwise, the students are just going to study. All the Colombian students are going to go to Georgia Tech online.
Cool, very nice. So I feel like before we go, you need to share with us the resources about Georgia Tech and any other resource that you want to share with the audience.
Definitely. I'm going to share everything, those great courses from USC and books. As I say, Barry Beam, that guy is amazing if you're working
Yeah,
in technology. That's
yeah.
an
And
amazing
perhaps
thing.
like some Udacity nano degrees.
Udacity nano degrees, also amazing. And also the opportunities to become a mentor. Like, that's one, if you want to go and study in the United States and you don't have a scholarship, one thing is, like, try to learn how to get a scholarship, because there's like a process, and you can, companies that
Yeah,
help you with that. But if you don't get a scholarship, I think that the best way is get an online job like I did, and that's a really good way
like
to afford it.
remotely, yeah.
Yeah, like that remote job. Because of that remote job, I was able to live in the United States. Otherwise, I couldn't afford it. And there are like a lot of things. Like you can work in Udacity as a mentor. There are like remote assistants. Remember that you mentioned that one time? So yeah, you can work as a virtual
I
assistant
had
or
a friend,
remote.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, those remote works are really good if you are struggling on seeing how to afford studying in the United States and live there. You can do that, and there is no problem in doing that while studying there, because sometimes the thing in the United States is that they don't give you permission to work outside the university.
Yeah.
You are only allowed to work in the university as a student, and you cannot work in Uber or in a restaurant or wherever. So that's why those jobs are really good. And the other thing I would say is that try to look for jobs in the United States while working there, that like you can find some things, maybe not with a
Like a
big company.
sponsor.
Yeah, I referred more like, for example, you can clean the apartment of other students, and you don't need, I
Yeah.
don't worry about like the job permission for that, because it's just like that. It's not like you're applying to a
Yeah.
McDonald's or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
not
that.
like, right.
Or you work with a teacher, ask them, or go to, I don't know, you're at church and ask for a job there and on help.
Yeah, like a
Or
temp job.
exactly, like there are people that are gonna help you, and like you're not gonna need like a job permission to those kind of jobs, like cleaning another student's bathroom, or buying them groceries, or going to a really small restaurant and asking for something, or to a teacher and say, hey, I can help you with this and pay me. So
Yeah.
I think those are my key lessons.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much, Andy. As always, it's always so cool to talk to you and learn from you. You are very wise.
Yeah, I hope that this experience and all of the, let's say, ups and downs that I have had can
Yeah,
help
help
other people.
anyone. Yeah, amazing. So thank you so much, Andy. And I guess we'll be in touch, guys. Thank you for listening our episode as always.
Thank you. Bye, Annie.
Bye,
Take care.
guys.
See you in the next episode.